So there's a bunch of people from the Democratic Party and Tulsi Gabbard who are going to be on the stage tonight.
Alt-right poster girl?
Yes.
Yes.
Russian infiltrator.
Russian asset,
whatever you want to call her. Allegedly.
Whatever.
All right.
Alt-right poster girl.
Who's gonna? Because Elizabeth Warren now is leading in the polls.
Oh, you know me. I don't root for. I root for nobody.
I know.
I'm only down for black.
In your black roots.
And our power rankings by the end of the week. So we're gonna have an assessment. We actually have the whole committee is gonna be watching tonight. We'll have an assessment. I will say this. One thing that I'm expecting to see tonight. One, Mayor Pete is gonna come out flexing in front because that's what he's been doing for the last couple of days. He's sitting on a whole lot of money, so he's going to go out there and try and be a big man. Number two, you're going to see Joe Biden, like an idiot, respond to this thing that's going on with his son, which makes absolutely no sense. Why are you responding to right-wing talking points? And Elizabeth Warren's going to do what she always does, which is say one or two witty things, go through her policy, and then, and I know people are going to say this is terrible and awful, but someone is going to ask Bernie Sanders a question about if or how, as a 78-year-old man, he can continue to convince people that
who just had a heart attack.
Who just had a heart attack.
So it's not just the 78.
Exactly.
Well, he just had a heart attack.
Just had a heart attack.
Hi.
I think everybody's vying for VP with him.
No. Wow.
All right.
Wow. He's not going to win the nomination. It's never going to happen.
So I saw that Elizabeth Warren was talking to Andrew Gillum.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Why not?
Well, first off, Andrew Gillum lost. So why would you pick someone who lost?
Because he's black.
The only reason you pick black. The only reason you pick someone who lost is if it was somebody like Stacey Abrams because you know she was robbed. So she's not going to pick Andrew Gillum. If she picks anybody, she would have to go with somebody like Cory Booker because if you are Elizabeth Warren and you end up with the Democratic nomination, you got to get a black person who the business community is comfortable with.
But Cory Booker?
I'm not saying it would be Cory, but it's got to be somebody like Cory.
No, I'm just like right. Who you got? Who you got? Damn it,
this
Mr.
is
Banks.
Clayton.
Mr. Banks, because I think the last time you were here, I called you Carlton. I did that.
I've been waiting for that one to come out.
I was thinking that was going to happen next.
Yeah, that was good.
The most interesting candidate, looking at from a tech prism, is
don't say Andrew
Yang.
He's an alt-right
I'm not saying that he's going to win
hold
on
on.
any of that.
Jason Johnson, you have to stop besmirching these people's
I'm
characters.
not besmirching him. I'm not besmirching him. When you talk about how great you think MAGA people are, when you bring black people up, when you're talking about anti-Asian racism and say how anti-Asian racism is worse than black racism, when you go on Joe Rogan's show and you don't mention any of the racist stuff that he does, when you do some of the things that Andrew Yang has done, there is every reason to believe that he is an alt-right fantasy person on Reddit. Doesn't mean he doesn't have good ideas.
Can he just be an Asian that's out of touch with race and racism as most Asians are in this country?
I don't presume that Asian people are out of touch with racism in this country, and if he uses that as an excuse, that's all the more reason.
I don't see them out in them streets.
It doesn't. You don't have to be out in those streets to be aware of what's going on in the world. I mean, like
they're not doing anything about it.
I'm not saying that's not true either.
Give me something. Give me name.
The Asian American. If you look at places like Los Angeles, if you look at places that have the Hmong population in Louisiana, there are Asian American populations that are very active with the issues that they may happen to face in their own communities. Even if you look at the Asian American population at Harvard, and they have all those issues of both about race and how affirmative action occasionally did or did not work in their favor. I'm
talking about. Anyway,
I'm just saying. Look,
but you're expecting him to do something that I haven't seen Asians do in this country, which is to stand up for the rights of black. I'm
expecting him to act like somebody who actually wants my vote, because you ain't getting if you don't get the black vote, you can't become president.
Clayton Banks' vote.
Well, he's a tech entrepreneur, so I look at it straight from a prism. But I understand what you're saying, Jason. I really do. And frankly, I haven't picked a candidate for myself. I just find that it's rare that you hear politicians talk about technology, and it's the most important thing, I think. When 40% of people in Harlem do not have broadband in the home, that's an issue.
Yeah.
And across this nation, 25-30% of people not having access to the internet. That's crazy why a president wouldn't talk about that, including the fact that it's proven that a household that goes from zero broadband to broadband, just as defined by the FCC, improves their economic intake $500 a month.
Yes.
Someone should be screaming that as loud as they possibly can, and Yang so far has been the only one talking about tech, but your points are valid, obviously.
Well, he's been pressing on two issues: automation and AI and its effect on the black community. And also, he was the only guy who, from his beginning, his campaign was talking about paying athletes. Then it happened in California. We wrote about this in last week's Week 13 of the Power Rankings. And then Cory Booker came running after and said, I was an athlete too. Yeah. So I'm not saying he doesn't have good ideas. I'm just saying I wouldn't necessarily trust him to be president of the United States.
All right.